Hi, welcome to another edition of Crossing Ken. Welcome to the Crossing Ken Garage. I'm Randy.
And I'm Kristen.
Today we have a phenomenal show for you. Oh, by the way, thank you for everyone who's been watching our videos. We really do enjoy getting to do those. It's stuff we talk about all the time anyway. Why not do a YouTube channel? That's kind of what we were thinking anyway. Oh, also, if you haven't seen it yet, go check out the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang recast it from last 2 weeks ago. Right up there, okay? There.
Up here.
Okay? Follow Kristen. Today, we've got a phenomenal Crossing Ken for you. We are ranking our top 10 best faith-based films. Happy Easter, by the way.
We have just come out of Easter. I believe Easter Sunday was this past Sunday. I sincerely hope everybody celebrated accordingly.
Hope you had a great celebration for Easter. Complete with family, friends, food, and a service, perhaps more, celebrating our risen Savior. So, today, we're going to rank those top 10 faith-based films. Now, if you're my age or older, faith-based films have been around for a very, very long time. So, one of the things that you may be thinking, oh, they're going to definitely talk about Charlton Heston. Well, yeah, we are, but honorable mention. So,
as he said, first, some honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. Now, before we get started with those, we want to lump all of those great Ben-Hur, the Ten Commandments, the Robe, the Bible, Samson and Delilah, and on and on and on.
Solomon and Sheba.
Solomon, I think, was one. Yeah, these great biblical epics from the 40s and 50s that also told the story of the Bible and ultimately the story of Jesus as they were given their constructs and their parameters. So, one of the things that we have to remember, though, this was the 40s and 50s Hollywood. It was the heyday, the glamour day for Hollywood. But we wanted to give a shout out to those films. Some phenomenal films. Go and watch them. They're classics. Several of them won awards. But they're honorable mentions on our faith-based film. We also want to lump together a group of pictures from the Sherwood Brothers. These guys really reinvented faith-based films for our generation.
Beginning with their movie Flywheel
in 2003. Right. Flywheel, then Facing the Giants in 2006. Fireproof in 2008. Overcomer in 2019. Those films, and they've just announced that they've got another project in the working. Should be probably next summer from the Sherwood Brothers. Sherwood Pictures, rather. The Kendrick Brothers. So, we want to give a shout out to that. Also, we want to make mention of Mom's Night Out. Patricia Heaton from Everybody Loves Raymond.
Sarah Drew from Grey's Anatomy.
And several other people that you'll probably recognize are in this film. Phenomenally hilarious film. Perfect for any ladies' devotional time or just ladies' gathering. But man, you could enjoy it too.
Also good for Mother's Day, which is right around the corner.
Right around the corner. The Nativity Story, also. It came out in 2006.
And it stars Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac from
Star Wars, the sequel trilogy, as well as Moon Knight,
from
the Marvel show.
Right. And then we talked about the classics. Those are our honorable mentions. Now, I know that you probably have your faith-based film that you really enjoy. Please let us know which ones we may or may not, or how we ranked them, how you would rank them. Let us have that feedback.
All right, now on with the countdown.
On with the countdown.
At number 10, we have The Star, an animated film released in 2017. It stars Stephen Ewan of Walking Dead fame. I hope I pronounced his last name correctly. Zachary Levi.
Shazam! Sorry, just couldn't help it.
You gotta stop that.
I gotta stop that.
Addie Bryant and Christopher Plummer. He voices Herod. He plays the bad guy. But this is an animated film, and it tells the story from the animals' perspective. It tells the story of the nativity from the perspective of the donkey that's carrying Mary to Bethlehem.
A very unique perspective.
Very unique. It's got a great soundtrack.
Phenomenal
the
soundtrack.
film literally starts with Pentatonix's Carol of the Bells, and I was sold from that point on, if you start with Pentatonics, you're going to have Kristen sold.
You had us at Pentatonics.
You had us at Pentatonics. Kristen Chenoweth is also a voice in this. This has an amazing voice cast. Go to IMDb or Wikipedia and look up the voice cast because it stunned me, some of the actors and actresses that are involved in this project. The animation is really good. It tells the story succinctly and clearly in a way that kids will understand, but also adults will appreciate. So, yeah, The Star, number 10.
Number 10. Thank you, Kristen. Next, we have number 9. One of the series that we talked about a little bit earlier before. We are actually ranking some of the Kendrick Brothers films in our list. I mean, they're just good. But we wanted to give those an honorable mention because some of them didn't make the list. At number 9, we find the 2011 film Courageous. It stars Alex Kendrick, Ken Bevel, Kevin Downs, and Robert Amaya. Now, one of the things in this film has such a great combination of dramatic aspects and humor.
So stinking funny.
Just watch it for the Snake King scene.
We will link the Snake King clip down in the description below.
Absolutely phenomenal. Incredible. Plus, it just has a very well flowing storyline all the way through. Go and check out 2011's Courageous.
This film is geared more towards fathers. Mom's Night Out is for Mother's Day. This film is great for Father's Day.
Absolutely perfect. Plus, it also features the stars in a role that needs our support. They're set as police officers, and we honestly here at Cross and Ken wholeheartedly support our men in blue. Be careful out there.
All right. Number 8, a movie for the season we've just come out of. We have The Passion of the Christ from 2004, starring Jim Caviezel and Monica Bellucci. Pretty much everybody knows The Passion of the Christ. It was one of the biggest films ever there for a while. Mel Gibson directed, I believe.
Mel Gibson directed.
And I heard something either last year or the year before that he's working on a sequel.
He's working currently, that's the thing I heard as well. He's working on a sequel that would take from the Open Tomb forward and get into some of Paul's works, I believe. There's not a whole lot known about that right now, but it is the number 1 faith-based film of all time, even though it got an R rating. And the R rating is for
gore
just and absolute horrific depiction of the crucifixion.
And rightly deserved.
Yes.
But here's the thing. Jim Caviezel, first off, you have my undying respect. He was literally scarred by the making of this movie. He was accidentally really whipped during the whipping scene and now has a 4-inch scar on his back. He was struck by lightning while on the cross. He got hypothermia while being on the cross. He suffered rib breaks and just all sorts of stuff. Jim Caviezel suffered for this movie, and the result is fantastic, and his commitment to this film is equally respectable.
Now, if you happen to be one of the few people who have not seen this film, we don't recommend it for children.
No.
Young children, get The Star for them, okay? But you really do need to have either the kids to bed or the children in a place where they can't even trip into this film. It is just brutal in its depictions of the crucifixion, as one would imagine. But it's also in Aramaic. It is not an English language. You don't hear Jim Caviezel, as with so many biblical epics, having a British accent. Everybody is speaking Aramaic, and it is beautiful in that, but it does have English subtitles. But it's beautiful in its depiction of the events. Mel Gibson did an exquisite job with directing this. Now, at number 7, we have another film that's a historical narrative. It's about the drive to get slavery abolished in England. Now, this is before the states, were really they were in their infancy. But it's a British set film. It's called Amazing Grace.
About the life of William Wilberforce.
Thank you. William Wilberforce's life. It came out in 2006, and it stars Joan Grufford, Benedict Cumberbatch and Albert Finney. That's right, folks. You heard that casting correctly. And there is another host of supporting casts that you will definitely know from other films that you've seen. This is such an incredible, incredible film. Albert Finney, in fact, plays the role of the writer of Amazing Grace. So, go and see this film. 2006, Amazing Grace. It's a historical epic. If you like history, especially political history to a large extent, you'll love this film.
Number 6, War Room. This is another of the Kendrick brothers movies. It was released in 2015. It starred Priscilla C. Shire, T.C. Stallings, and Karen Abercrombie. This is a movie about a woman who is trying to sell a house for this older woman, and as she's doing her real estate tour of the house, she comes across this closet, and she asks, what is this closet? And the old lady tells her, it's my war room. It's a closet where she prays.
Right.
It is the closet where she goes in. She has all these notes and writings on the wall about the things she prays over. And this inspires that lady, who is in the midst of a troubled marriage and a disconnect from her child, to go and actually devote herself to her prayer life. And it's just, oh my goodness, this is one of the few films that I am not ashamed to admit I have a moment every time I watch it where I just have to be like, don't look at me. I'm not crying. I'm not crying. You're crying. Stop it.
It's my shingle eye.
But I can't use that excuse.
You can't use that excuse. That's true.
But it's such a powerful movie, especially the scene that gets to me. This is one of the few movies by the Kendrick brothers, where not a lot of the faces we've come to know from their productions are seen. They're there a few times, but it's more like Where's Waldo than starring these people.
Right.
But it's still a phenomenal movie. The acting is spot on, and the story is exceedingly powerful.
You can see why Priscilla Shire is on the Christian speaking tour as often as she possibly is. She's very eloquent in this film, and she sells the role very, very well. Very well.
All right.
Next up.
Number 5.
Another animated film. Now, if you thought this list was just going to be those live action things, we love animation at our house. I mean, come on. Star Wars Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah.
I mean, we just love animation. It has been a very important part of my life. In fact, and we'll talk about this on our next episode, hint, hint, hint. The classical music that I am aware of is because Bugs Bunny had that glove going, ah! So, animated films have their place, and they make an important impact. This is another biblical historical film, and it's called The Prince of Egypt. It's based on the life of Moses. Came out in 1998, and it also has a mind-blowing voice cast. It stars Val Kilmer, Ralph Fiennes, and Michelle Pfeiffer, among a host of others.
Patrick Stewart, Helen Mirren,
Jeff Goldblum, Steve Martin,
Sandra Bullock, Martin Short, Danny Glover. Thank you.
A lot, just a
and
huge.
so many more. It's astounding.
If you've not seen this film, Prince of Egypt, we recommend the film, if for no other reason that it's entertainment value and its all-star cast. There are so many people who wanted to be on board for this epic telling of Moses' life. It's not a Ten Commandments redo. It is a musical. It is a engaging. Yes, they did take some creative license. All of these films that are based off of the Bible tend to take a little creative license. That may be offensive to some, and that's okay. Stay with other things that you like. But we like a little bit of creative license because the Bible, while it paints an incredible picture, doesn't give us all the details that some of these films flesh out just a little bit. Go see The Chosen. So, this is a phenomenal film. We highly recommend it. Buy the soundtrack. To this day, we listen to the soundtrack at least once every 6 months or so. And
I listen to it constantly.
It is just a phenomenal, phenomenal film. But that means that if it's at number 5, what could be the next 4?
All right, well, to answer your question, we have number 4, Risen, released in 2016, starring Joseph Fiennes, Ralph Fiennes' little brother, Tom Felton, who was in Harry Potter with Ralph Fiennes, and Cliff Curtis. He plays Jesus in this film. This tells the story of a Roman centurion who is tasked with finding Jesus' body after the resurrection, and winds up going on a whole faith journey. And it is beautiful. It's almost like, this sounds terrible, it's CSI Rome. It's CSI Rome in the olden days when they don't have the computers to tell them the answers. And the cast is fabulous. You can really tell that they are not doing this and just doing it. At least some of them are fully invested in this film.
And as I understand it, it's one of the first films after Harry Potter that
Tom Felton,
who played
Draco
Malfoy in the Harry Potter films, did. And he's very good in this as well.
Yes.
Kristen said it right. This is a Roman centurion's investigation into what happened to Jesus. And an incredible faith journey as well. Now, none of it, while it is biblically based, we don't have any text by any stretch. So this one takes the creative license to its nth degree. But the storyline is exquisite. If you recognize the name Joseph Fiennes, you may remember him from the film Shakespeare in Love with Gwyneth Paltrow. That to me is the only thing I really remember him from. But he does an exquisite job of just fleshing out this centurion's struggle with what happened on the day that we just celebrated. Now, it also is a period piece, so there are some gross out kind of things along the lines. Nothing like in Passion of the Christ.
Nothing graphic.
However, there are some, just realistic type what first century Jerusalem would have been like, events that do occur. So be prepared for that.
Use your discretion.
But
as we speak of a case,
number 3. So many people tend to say we are searching for what the story is with Jesus. Did it happen? Did the events happen? All of this. Well, in 2017, Lee Strobel, a reporter for the Chicago Tribune, who is an atheist, comes to his faith journey by investigating all of the claims that are in the Gospels. All of the claims that are in the Gospels. Did Jesus come back to life? How did the crucifixion? What was the makeup of the crucifixion? As an award-winning investigative reporter, he susses out every jot and tittle that he possibly could about the story of Jesus, his death, burial, and resurrection. He just wanted to see what the big deal was. Now, something really cool about this is going on at about the same time the Jesus Revolution is happening in Chicago. That's a hint for later. So, you see all of this transpiring, and he drives a 78 Camaro.
Yeah, the minute Dad saw that car, this movie became one of his favorites of all time.
But it's more intriguing for the story than it is for the car. The car, but it is intriguing. It is his investigative journey to discover the truth of Jesus.
Based on the book by the Real Life Lisa.
Exactly.
Yes.
That has sold a gazillion copies. If you've never read The Case for Christ, we highly recommend that you do that, then see the movie.
Yep, book first, then movie.
Book first, then movie. It stars Mike Vogel, Erica Christensen, who is currently in
Will Trent
on ABC, and Faye Dunaway. That's right. Bonnie from Bonnie and Clyde.
These movies pull in all stars.
This is it's a phenomenal film. Case for Christ 2017. Watch it. Read it. Watch it. Read it. Watch it.
Do all the things. All right. Number 2. I Can Only Imagine. From 2018. This movie stars J. Michael Finley, Dennis Quaid, and Trace Atkins. It tells the story of Bart, who is a member of Mercy Me, and his journey of, his whole life's journey, B, him joining Mercy Me, and then writing I Can Only Imagine. Trace Atkins plays their manager, I believe, and he just makes me smile every time he's on screen. Trace Atkins, you do a great job. Dennis Quaid plays Bart's father, and he is not a very good man, that's putting it mildly. But this movie also kind of depicts their journey of going from really, really not a good man towards his son or anybody around him to an actual loving relationship.
It takes dysfunctionality to faith.
That's actually a really great way to phrase it.
Thank you. Yeah, it does.
But yeah, if you love the song I Can Only Imagine, then seeing the history of it is fascinating. The gentleman, J. Michael Finley, who plays Bart, he is from Arkansas, or at least he was born here. And I believe he does his own singing for this film. So if that is true, you have a wonderful voice, Michael. And yeah, Dennis Quaid, I've never thought Dennis Quaid could scare me. He kind of does scare me in this movie, playing Bart's bad father.
Dennis Quaid of late has found himself being in many faith-based films as well. He acknowledges his belief in Jesus Christ, and while, like all of us, he's not lived a life up until a certain point, he is trying to do some things now that exemplify the belief system that he has in his life. So be careful. This is like Dennis Quaid, like you've probably not been used to seeing him.
This is not Parent Trap Dennis Quaid.
Or The Rookie Dennis Quaid. Or even Flight of the Phoenix Dennis Quaid.
This is Dennis Quaid channeling the worst possible person he can.
He really stretches himself as an actor. And you should see this film, if for nothing else, just to see the depth that Dennis Quaid has in this particular film. We love him as an actor anyway, so it was icing on the cake for him to be in here.
All right, we've reached it, guys.
Number one. And as you would imagine, number one, we hinted at a little earlier. Kristen and Tammy and Katie have seen this film twice now. I've only seen it once. The Jesus Revolution. I lived it, man. It was one of those things. I was a child when the Jesus Revolution was happening in a small little church north of where we live. And but the effects of that time period, the movie does such an exquisite job of capturing the time frame. 67 to 72, or right around those area. It was made in 22. It also has a pretty legit cast. Joel Courtney, Jonathan Rumi, who is currently playing Jesus in The Chosen, and Frasier, Kelsey Grammer.
Or, if you're a nerd, Beast from Hugh Jackman's X-Men.
Right. So we love Kelsey Grammer as well, from everything back to Cheers to Frasier to anything that he's really acted in. So, but we encourage you to go and see this film. The soundtrack is fantastic from that time frame's popular music, and that's one of the recurring themes in a lot of these, especially Jesus movement type period pieces. The Case for Christ. Woodlawn. We've mentioned that before on Crossing Kin.
Go check out our top 10 sports films to see where it ranks.
Click the link. But they follow along, finding popular music from the era and infusing it in important ways. For some reason, the Doobie Brothers continue to show up in a lot of these films. Could be that several of those guys profess Christianity as well. So, Jesus Revolution from 2002, okay? 2022. Jesus Revolution, brand new film, still probably in some theaters right now. It surprised and shocked critics when it came out. So, go see the Jesus Revolution.
That's our list, ladies and gentlemen. What do you guys think? Did we leave out some of your favorites, or did we hit everything right on? Let us know down in the comments below. Happy Easter, and we hope y'all have an amazing spring. Be sure to like, comment, because we really do want to hear from you. Subscribe and ring that notification bell so you know next time we upload. And we will see you back in 2 weeks.
From the Crossing Kin Garage, I'm Randy.
And I'm Kristen.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.